Hey everybody, we have a 2022, brand new for this year, Pro Mod SoCal Charvel Jakey Lee style guitar. Alder body, maple neck, rosewood fingerboard, Seymour Duncan JB, DiMarzio SDS, DiMarzio SDS, 5-way selector, single volume, hardtail bridge, Charvel logo tuners, and this guitar weighs in at 7 pounds. I'll put the measurements in the description. So for those of you following along, this is the second one of these I had. I returned the first one due to some QC issues, and this one came in better shape. It was 8 apart in the serial number from the other one. So if they're done sequentially, the two I had were within 8 of each other. And actually, the hang tag has some of the same people on there, Ernest and Oscar. I don't know the first name on there, if it's Taru, not sure. And I don't know Poncho. The other one had Denise and another name I couldn't read for the prep. I got to say, somebody dropped the ball on both of these. I was able to fix all the issues with this one. Number one, namely being the nut. Number two, the brown stuff on the headstock. I was able to get that off with a 600 grit. And the string tree that was loose in the screw, adjusted to the proper angle, and set this guitar up. So here's the original nut that was in it. It's a piece of plastic. And I'll see if you can see. Oh, see if I can get this in focus. Sorry, we're doing this with an iPhone. Put my beard in the way so you have a background. And you can see it a lot better on this side. So where that D string slot is, I'm getting there somewhere. Where the D string slot is, I had to use a product called StuMac Nut Rescue Powder. So what happened, I looked at it and this one was much better than the first one, but still pretty bad. If you listen, this is just a chunk of plastic, no tone. Pretty bad. But I put that nut rescue powder in it, and what that is, you put super glue that's real thin, then you put the powder, then you put a little more super glue, and you reslot the nut. And when I strung the guitar back up, that string was louder and clearer than the rest, and I figured I'm not putting powder in all 6 slots and reslotting it, so I'm just going to put a new TUSQ nut in there. Before I forget to say this in the video, if you are buying this guitar, don't count on this nut. It's terrible. For $1,300, you would think somebody at the factory could have got a TUSQ nut and put it on there. For crying out loud, most of them are slotted already, and you have to do very, very minor work to get them to your final fit. Took me about 10 minutes, 15 minutes with the files to get this mostly in place, and then just a couple kisses afterwards to get it set exactly to factory spec. But the TUSQ part number that you're going to look for is 5000-00, and then put whatever color you want in there, if you want black or cream or white. But here it is with a new TUSQ nut installed and properly slotted. Everything was good to go there. And I set this to a factory spec. But what I was saying before, I used the nut rescue powder. I put it in the slot. I reslotted it. The string was louder and clearer. I said, I'm not doing it. I replaced the nut, got everything good to go. And I went to factory spec. So if you look at Fender, Jackson, and Charvel, they have different locations where they want you to take the measurement. Charvel will tell you to take your action at the 12th fret, whereas Jackson and Fender say at the 17th fret. I learned years and years ago in one of my classes where we were doing setups, when you adjust your nut height, you want to fret the 3rd fret, and you look for the gap in between the string and the fret. And there's a measurement, and I can't find it in writing anywhere, but someone told me it's the Fender measurement, and it comes in a little high. Then what you do is you adjust it to taste there. I have this pretty gosh darn similar to the USA that's right here, if I look at it when I'm reaching, in string height. So that being said, the quality control on these is hit or miss. If you buy it, know you're not getting a gig bag. Know that you are not getting a hard shell case. Know that it is made in Mexico. It does have a $1,300 street price, and it does come with a piece of crap plastic nut, and the quality control is not there. So if you buy one, and you buy it from a big box store online, that what they do is they take the manufacturer box, put that in a box, and ship it to you without looking at it. Be prepared to do a complete setup. And I don't mean just a string change, a little bit of a neck tweak because you live in, I don't know, New Hampshire and it came from Arizona. No, be prepared to do the entire thing. Now, what I will say is, even though I had to do a setup on this, even though I had to change the nut, even though I had to adjust the bridge, and even though all of these things were out of whack, the guitar from the factory shipped almost in tune. In the video, if you scroll back and watch it, you can see that I actually take it and I go, wow, it's almost in tune. So bear that in mind, that it leaves the factory in not a good way. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to do just a couple quick sound clips between the Mexican one and the USA one. They sound pretty similar. The measurements will be in the description, and ironically, or not ironically, coincidentally, my first one of these and my second one of these are almost dead on even on the weight. They were both about 7 pounds. It depended on how you put it on the scale. You might be a half an ounce heavier or lighter either way. And my USA, that's right here, is also 7 pounds. So I found that to be interesting, even though it's a different material in the body and different paint and all that good stuff. So what we'll do is we'll do the same licks we did in the, licks and riffs that we did in the other videos, just to make it fair. So without further ado, in the other room, it's a DSL, SD1 into the DSL, and 212 cab, and we're recording with an iPhone. So little mess up there. That's all right though. This isn't about my playing, this is about the guitars. So bear what I just played in mind, and we'll go with the USA one right here. So pretty similar in sound, pretty similar in feel too. This neck feels a little different. It was made by a different person in a different country under different circumstances. It has a few different features to it. Not that this is a feature, but the skunk stripe, it's a different mechanism for building the neck. So I'm sure it was shaped differently. The things that feel similar, before I get to that, what also feels different, the frets on this are a medium jumbo. These are a jumbo fret. So that's according to the Jackson website. These on this do not feel medium jumbo to me. They feel just more like a medium fret, but they still feel comfortable. I move seamlessly between any of the guitars that I play. But the neck feels very similar overall. The pattern to it, the rounding of the fret edges, the quality of the fretwork. There was a higher polish on these when the USA came out of the box than that one. Nothing wrong with that. You can fix that up real easy. 4/0 steel wool, or you can use like a 6,000 grit or an 8,000 grit, and you won't harm anything with that. The other difference is this has an ash body and a bone nut. This has an alder body, and it comes with a poorly cut plastic nut, but now this one has a TUSQ nut, and TUSQ sounds pretty similar to bone. Bone's a little bit different, but they're pretty close. Through a high gain amp, you won't notice much of the difference. So I'll do just a couple power chords here, up and down, and then an open chord, and then we'll switch back to the other guitars. So hope I remember what I did. Okay, now let's go to the other guitar here. See if we can do that without dropping any. All right, here. So this is back to the Made in Mexico one. This plays a lot better now that I've set it up. And all I did was I went to the factory specs as a starting point, and I'll put those measurements for actually, I'll put all three manufacturers in the description. I'll put the Fender, the Jackson, and the Charvel factory specs in the description. And I'll link to the, well, I don't know if I can link to it. I bought them so many years ago. I'll put the brand of the fret files that I bought. I can't even pronounce it. It's UO- something, and there's a fish on them. They're a Japanese company, and I bought mine from Philadelphia Luthier, I think is what the place is called. I'll link to that website. I don't get paid from them. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'll take them, but I'm 100%. I buy the stuff. I do it on my own. I'll put a link to the nut too in the description. It's a TUSQ 5000-00. So, the verdict on this guitar. Would I buy this guitar off of the shelf for $1,300 plus tax for with no gig bag and with no case? No. But I didn't pay $1,300 for mine. I got mine with a 15% off coupon, which really translates to 9% off because of the 6% Pennsylvania sales tax. And the company I bought from, I also got rewards points, so that'll give me about $100 more to use at their shop. Everything's marked up, but I'll still get to buy something with it. I have $12 into a nut, and I have my time putting the file in. Putting the nut in and filing it and getting everything to where it should be. That's it. I also bought a case. I'll put a link in the description of what case fits this exactly. It's an SKB-66. It's a very, very good hard shell case. Has bumpers around the edges, has real nice plastic latches, and if you want to, it has feet that lock onto the top. Well, not lock, but they sit in like a groove, and you can stack them if you do yours that way. I keep mine vertical, so the stacking doesn't do anything for me, but it's there if you like it. The guitar, it's pretty damn close to that neck feel wise. I can tell the difference because of the frets. This is actually a discussion, and I don't want to digress too long, but Paul Reed Smith, they made a guitar called the Dave Navarro Signature, and I have a couple of the USA made ones, and I've owned a few of the SE ones. And if you put the same pickups in them, and you closed your eyes, and you ignored that the body carve was different, the only way you could tell them apart was the fret wire. The SEs use a shorter and narrower fret wire than the USA Core or Artist or Wood Library or whatever models do. If you closed your eyes and you felt this neck and it had the same frets as this one, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. This is a fast neck. It plays really well. The action, I have it stupid low on both sides. It holds tune well even without a locking set of tuners and a locking trim. You don't need them, if you're not using a whammy bar, sorry. You could put locking tuners on it. I have a video where I have one of my custom builds that's made after a Jake E. Lee model, and I have locking tuners on it. It helps string changes be a little bit faster, but that's really it. I didn't notice any tuning stability difference once I switched to them. It's a great guitar. If you can get a sale price on one, or if you can pick one up used, that's probably the route to go. $1,300 is a bit pricey, especially for a guitar that you have to work on. Now, if you're buying from a music store that does the setup for you, that's checking that nut and making sure it's good, or if you're one of the lucky people that gets one with a good nut, hey, more power to you. You're set. You'd be hard-pressed to find a difference between them. The tuners feel a little bit tighter on this, not as smooth as the ones on the USA. That could just be the placebo effect of I paid more for that one than I did for this one. Like I told you, I got 15% off of this. Translates to 9% if you factor in tax that we all pay now, but I guess it's still 15% in the end. When I bought this one, there was tax too. That law took effect by then. 5-way selector, single volume, 3 pickups, just the same as that. Single ply black guard, same as that. The color is a smidge different. I've covered that before in the other video. This has the lavender hue, this does not. And if you look on the Charvel website, they actually don't list the same color either. The inlay color is different. This is more white. This is more of a clay, brownish, grayish wood mix color. That's going to be a Crayola crayon color name. Brownish, grayish wood color mix. You'll notice the fretboard on this is a bit darker than it was in the previous video. Did receive some just good old F1 oil. So that's it. There you have it. This is the Jakey Lee 2022 new for this year, according to Charvel. It's not available till April. I must have done something magic right because I've had 2 of them within the last 2 weeks. So I guess in closing, we'll... There you go. See you next time.